Hello and welcome to this live training. It's great to see you. While people are just filtering in and getting, how do I do this? Yeah, while people are filtering in, I'm just going to go ahead and give a quick intro to me because I noticed some of the people that signed up for this training we're not friends yet. I don't know you, so nice to meet you. My name is Kyra Maestra. I am a trauma therapist, a somatic experiencing trauma therapist, which means I was trained in Peter Levine's school for somatic experiencing. I began my work with somatic experiencing and trauma really because I went through something really hard in my mid-20s and was dealing with a lot of complex PTSD symptoms, and I utilized plant medicine and awareness practices and got really lucky and really got to know myself during that period of time. And working with the plant medicine, it kind of tuned me in to how the plant medicines were working with our body. And so I wanted to develop a system to do the same kind of trauma release that the plant medicines were doing. And that's how I got into somatic experiencing. After a year of trying to develop my own system to mimic plant medicines, I realized that somatic experiencing therapy was exactly what I was trying to create. So in working with trauma and doing some courses on trauma, I eventually realized that I really wanted to work with entrepreneurs because truthfully, all that trauma is it's an agreement that we made with life. And we have a lot of agreements that we make with life that come up in early stages of entrepreneurship. So if we have agreements around money, that money is in some way going to taint us or taint our art, or that if we have a lot of money, only bad people have money, then that's actually a trauma that's living in our body. And that's something that we can utilize somatic experiencing therapy to release from our body. And that's not the only thing people have hangups around. People have hangups around selling, or they have hangups around marketing. And really it's a physical sensation that's happening when we contract around these things, just like we contract around emotional traumas. So this trauma therapy, somatic experiencing, is an excellent way to get into our psyche and restructure beliefs that we have about the universe and about ourselves. So hello to whoever's here. Just giving a quick intro on myself while people are filtering in. I'd love if you drop a comment, say hi so I know who it is. And what we're going to be diving into today is we're going to be talking about how we can find these contractions that happen in our systems and how we can actually release them to be open to more success and more clients and more money and more of the life that we really want to be living. So, oh, hi Amber, so good to see you. So the thing that I would like to say first is that, I know that in a lot of spiritual circles, and especially when you're working around contracts that we have around money or around safety or around freedom, it's a lot of inherited stuff. And so people kind of look back and they're like, well, I inherited this from my family lineage, or this happened to me in a past life. And I really want to just bring you back to the now. Everything's a fractal, and it's fractaling out from right now. Now is the only moment that has ever existed. And now, hi Rika. Now is when we actually have the ability to change how we're viewing the universe and how we're interacting with life and what kind of life we're creating. Our power to create only exists in the now, and our power to heal only exists in the now. And so I think just to start us off, why don't we do a little practice to come into the now together before we dive into finding our contractions around money and around success. Gratitude has a time signature of right now. We experience all emotions in the now, but they have time signatures that tie back to the past or the future. Fear often lives in the past. Excitement often lives in the future. Honor for someone often lives in the past. Gratitude lives right now, and appreciation lives right now. It's full and total acceptance and beingness in this moment. So if you can, go ahead and take a couple breaths wherever you are, and try to presence something that you are really grateful for, that exists in your life. And just take a deep breath. And as you bring this thing to mind that you're very grateful for, start to track your body and where are you grateful? Tuning in to the gratitude that exists in this moment. So just taking a breath, welcome into the space. thinking about something that you're very grateful for as you begin to really drop in with us here in this container. Asking yourself, where am I grateful in my body? Sometimes we have this habit of being kind of beside our experience, and I invite you to come into the center of your experience, into your experience of gratitude right now. So hello to whoever else just showed up. It's great to see you. I work a lot with the energetics. I do work with strategy in business, but I work much more with the energetics. And this energetic of actually tuning into the present moment and using gratitude as an anchor into the present moment is a huge piece of my work, because we really only do have power to start creating the life that we want to live when we are present to the moment that's happening. And why this is so important is because I want to tune you into a framework that I work with my clients on a lot, which is there is the conscious mind, the mind, that you have control over, that is kind of the driver of the ship of your thoughts and your experience, and we can choose it. And then we have our subconscious mind, which is really our body is kind of the voice of the subconscious mind. So our physical reactions to things, our emotional experience, it kind of lives in the body. And then we have our unconscious mind, where all of our beliefs about life and about ourselves live. This is the home of all of our past experiences and our memories. Everything we've ever been through, everything our family has ever been through, our lineage trauma, our past life traumas, whatever you want to call it, everything lives in the unconscious mind. And we really have a hard time communicating to the unconscious mind, which is why you can't really talk your way out of anxiety responses. You can't just be like, stop pounding, heart. Be comfortable in this space, even though you have social anxiety. You can't just be like, be comfortable with sales. I'm confident with sales. Telling yourself that isn't necessarily going to change how you feel about it, because our conscious mind is kind of far away from our unconscious mind. And so the subconscious mind, the body, becomes an intermediary of communication between these two places. And when we can learn to utilize the body as the communication conduit that it actually is, we gain access to a conversation with our unconscious mind, where our beliefs about reality and what we are going to experience, what we're capable of, what's comfortable and not, we can rewire all of that to become the person that is in alignment with where we want to be and with our dreams. Being successful in business is not so much about what you're doing, although yes, the doing does need to happen and it's great to do, and it's much more about who you're being. And the being is all in the unconscious mind. The being is all in the feminine. The being is all in the body. And so this is kind of bridging the gap between the masculine paradigm of business and entrepreneurship and the feminine paradigm, wherein the masculine paradigm is very much about structure, very much about numbers. The feminine paradigm of business and leadership is about the whole of the experience. It adds into our bodies. Our bodies are important in that experience. Our employees are important. Their emotions are important. Our impact on the environment and the planet is important in the feminine paradigm, because we recognize that we are all one and we are in a harmonious symbiotic relationship with the planet that we need to be doing our part in. And so I really believe in this feminine paradigm of leadership and business, and I want to give you this tool so that you can use it to help yourself break through blocks to your own success, because your success is important. You're realizing that you are the creator of your life and you have the power to do what you want and to live the life that you want is the thing that's going to change the world. The person that knows both poverty and financial wealth is the person that's going to change the world. The person that understands what it's like to have no power and then rises into power is going to be the person to share and distribute power and help other people grow in their own choosing, their own greatness. And if you know anything about my music, it's like you are God. You are God embodied. And the more that we can wake up to that reality, the quicker we get to heaven on earth. And so that's what we're here to do. So let's dive in. You might know where you have contractions around your success and your money. if you do know kind of where your blocks are, I would love it if you drop it in the chat and we can talk about your specific kind of block. Some examples of this are blocks around feeling worthy of money or thinking that money is going to hurt you. Maybe it's just every time you talk to somebody and try to tell them about what you're doing, you feel shy or like maybe sleazy in your sales. Whatever's coming up for you in your business right now, I would love, drop in the chat, let me know about it. And if not, I'll just kind of come up with my own example for this. So let me think. One that used to be in my life a lot was around selling and telling people what I was doing. And whenever I would go to do this thing and to talk about what I was doing, there was something in me that kind of postured like, ugh. These energetics that we're running, they have physical signatures. So if you are blocked in your sales, if you are blocked in your marketing, if you are blocked in your teaching, you are going to feel a physical contraction because the body is the voice of the subconscious, which is connecting to the unconscious. If you have a belief, your body is going to let you know about it. And so, and maybe you don't really know where these things are living, but maybe you do. And I noticed that whenever I was talking about what I was doing, I would kind of fumble over my words and I would feel this kind of churning, like holding, I felt like I was being pulled back by this thing. And so if we can start to understand when these things are happening, if we can come into connection with our body and understand that, oh, I'm feeling a contraction right now. The feminine paradigm is not going to let you just ignore that and just do the thing to get over it and like go for the sale, because we're not in alignment with our heart. What our heart is saying, this doesn't feel good. I don't like this. And so what do we do with those contractions when they're not in alignment with where we want to go? And you really have two options here. You can purge it or you can nurture it. Oftentimes we are in this paradigm of like purge, push through, like do the thing. And I don't think that's always the way. Our nervous systems and our bodies are wise. And they are not always ready to go into a full-blown somatic release, complete with crying and screaming and throwing pillows around the room. They're not always ready for that level of intensity. And some of these wounds go deep. If you have a wound that says, I am not worthy of existing, and that is coming up when you're in a face-to-face sale or in, a marketing situation, that's not the time to actually go into that. And so nurture it. And a lot of this nurturing has to do with the framework in which you're meeting this contraction. If the framework in which you're meeting this contraction says, I'll never be successful unless I fix this thing, that is like a lot of pressure to put on yourself. It doesn't need to be like that, because you could be living in a world where I am contracted around this and this is perfect and I'm exactly where I need to be and I'm already succeeding. And this is just the middle of the story. I haven't reached the end of this particular saga yet. And if you can look at it and find artfulness and find beauty in the suffering that you're creating for yourself or that life is creating for you, depending on how you're looking at it, if you can find beauty in it and find acceptance in it, then you're in gratitude and you're in acceptance and you're in the present moment where you have power to hold and show up for yourself. And so the first thing about nurturing that I want you to really understand is check your framework. Are you shaming yourself for being where you are? Are you saying that this is wrong somehow or that this is blocking your success? Is that the story that you're creating for yourself? Or are you going to tell yourself the story that this is a perfect moment in my journey to being a beautiful, successful, amazing, powerful woman who can lead myself through these situations. This is exactly as much stimulation as I need right now, and it sucks, and that is perfect, and everything is fine, and I am right, and I am good, and I am worthy right here with this contraction. So easier to say than it is to do for ourselves all the time. I get that. So have friends that are on this journey with you. Now the second thing, like if you can nurture yourself in those moments when it's not time for a purge of one of these contractions, then great. And the purging of these contractions, again, we can't just decide that we're going to be thinking a different thing and have it affect our unconscious mind. That's not how it works usually. And so we need to go through by way of the body and actually communicate with our unconscious mind through the body. And so if we are like, thinking about, how great is it going to be to have sales? And we notice there's a part of our body that's actually not in alignment, or something about us gets scared, or something about us feels uncomfortable. Then a great process for purging this is just to be aware of it and go into, oh, where is this happening in my body? And just tune in and find the spot where this contraction is living and describe it to yourself in any way you can. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it contracted? Is it opening? Go into your body's experience of the resistance that you're experiencing. And a lot of people, the block that they come up with here is like, I can't feel anything. It feels so numb. Well, numb is a sensation. What feels numb about this thing? Is it a cold numbness? Is it staticky? Is it nothing? Okay, well, where is the edge of the nothing? How big is the nothing? Does the nothing look black? Does it look gray? What does this freeze look like in your body? And just continue to look, continue to witness, continue to be with. So again, the purge starts with the presence of the thing. And you don't need to exactly know what it is. All you need to know is, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I'm feeling anxious right now. Where am I feeling this thing? No matter what it's around. If it's around self-worth, if it's around money, if it's around clients, if it's around sales, where am I feeling what I'm feeling? And describe it. Describe it in physical sensations. Again, heat, cold, is it moving? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it sharp? Is it dull? And then visualizing it. See if you can actually see it in your mind's eye, and see anything about it you can. And the process here is to let. So you're not looking at this thing to purge it and do something with it. It's a feminine practice. So you're just witnessing, and you're letting, and you're allowing. If it's tight, how tight can it be? And this is why it's not always time to purge, because this can be an intense process. You might need to nurture. Might not be ready to let this be as tight as it can be, because you'll go into a full-blown panic attack. But if you're resourced and you know that you have the support and the safety present to go into this thing, then yeah, if it's tight, let it get tight and be with that tightness. Bring online your warrior. And if there's something that your body then wants to do with it, again, it's not really about like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to like rip it out. You're just rejecting a part of yourself, and what you resist persists. So instead, you're allowing this thing in, and you're allowing it to then animate what your body needs to do. If your body's responding to this tuning in that you're doing with like a need to push, not to get away from the sensation, but to actually just embody the expression of that thing and be in the expression of it with the body. So this can look like all sorts of things. It can look like pounding on your mattress. It can look like doing that in slow motion. It can look like doing that in fast motion, as long as you can stay connected with the actual physical feeling and continue to let that in, let it in, let it in. It can look like crying. It can look like going fully into your victim, knowing that that's what you're playing out right now, and just allowing it in love and presence, like holding the container for yourself to do that. Something came up for me today that I feel like illustrates this really well. I was listening to a meditation around money. I'm in a course right now that's really fucking epic, and I love it. And this meditation got you really into your body, and then was allowing you to receive abundance in a physical sensation, like allowing even your hands to be the abundance that is around you and that it's available to you. And I noticed that I had this feeling of blockedness, kind of like near my ovary, like on my right side, just in my hip area. I noticed there was something that was like, there's like an emotional quality to it that was kind of just resisting it. That's what it felt like. And I went into that feeling, and I went into that place, and I gave it my full attention, and I was letting it. And then the story just revealed itself. It was like, oh, this contraction around receiving money was there because for a long time I had a non-relationship with money, and it was trying to tune me into the fact that there was lack in my system. It was trying to wake me up to a money awakening. And the way that my body was doing that was contracting around this thing, being like, pay attention to me. And now I didn't need it to do that for me anymore, because I don't have that relationship with money anymore. And so I could physically allow it to contract, and then it just completes its cycle and it releases. And this is a main component of somatic experiencing therapy. I have a great video explaining what somatic experiencing therapy is. But basically, if we don't complete a fight or flight response cycle, it's just going to loop in our system forever. And we really need to complete these cycles by completing fight or flight impulses. And then our nervous system can fully deregulate, and that thing can be over. We're not living in the past anymore because the past is finished. It's all tied up nicely with a bow, and we're done with it. And our body, our physical system can release it and let it go and unlace from time and come back into the present moment where we have choice and we have power. Does anybody have any questions about any of this, or would like to kind of enlighten to your specific issue that you think you might be blocked with? Because I'd love to speak directly to it. So drop it in the chat. Let me see, what else do I have to cover here? Yeah, so why don't we go ahead and go into a little meditation now, and we'll kind of close up this container. I am so into the idea of helping you through this thing. I am so open to the idea of tuning you in. It's so hard to see our own minds, and we almost need somebody else sometimes to come in and be like, your power is being siphoned out of your body right here where this belief is, right here where the unwillingness to commit to just one clientele is, right here in your unwillingness to rewire your relationship with the masculine and with structure. Oh, here's fear that's keeping you from doing that, and that fear has a physical signature, and it's in your body, and we can release it. This building a business gets to be easy. We have this agreement around it that it has to be struggle, and it has to be hard, and it has to be grind, and it has to be sacrifice, and it's not true. It's really, really not true. It gets to be easy, and we get to, even if it's hard for you to show up every day, there's something in your body that is making that true, and you can actually purge it and become the kind of person where showing up every day is easy, where the types of commitment that you need to have to your project is easy. And it gets to be easy. So if you want support in that, this is what I do. I help entrepreneurs get past the blocks that they can't quite see because their physical body is not able to release where they have been, and free them up to go where they want to go. So let's do a little meditation around this before we close up. And go ahead and just take a deep breath in your seat. Welcome yourself into your own space. Close your eyes. And breathe in a way that feels delicious to yourself, that feels truly satisfying, that feels easy. Coming into a full awareness of how your breath feels moving in and out of your body as you seek deep satisfaction and easefulness in your breath. And now going to your root, the base of your body between your sits bones, and taking a deep breath in to fill this area with life, with energy. And as you breathe out, releasing tension, releasing, opening, surrendering in your root chakra. And giving another breath to that same practice. And then up into your sacrum, into your sacral chakra, breathing energy, life force into your womb, and exhaling into an openness, a receptivity in this area. And another breath up through those two chakras into your solar plexus chakra, filling it with energy, life, freedom, and exhaling into openness and receptivity and relaxation. And another breath all the way up through to your heart, filling it with energy, freedom, life, and exhaling into softness, easefulness, gratitude. And then inhaling all through the chakras up into the throat chakra, filling it with life, energy, presence, and exhaling into relaxation, letting go. And breathing up the chakras again into the third eye chakra, like you're opening the third eye on the inhale, and exhaling, surrender, easeful relaxation in through the head. And another breath all the way up through every chakra, all the way to the crown, opening to universal intelligence, wisdom, filling up, and exhaling into surrender for all that is. And as you come back to this satisfying, easy breath, repeat this after me, either out loud or in your head. My business is easy. My business is easy. I feel free and easy. And my success is already here. My business is easy and my success is already here. And look inside of your body and notice if there's anywhere that feels like it's holding some resistance to this idea that you're in the perfect place or that things are easy. So seeking for a place in your body where it feels like it might be hard. And go into that place and witness the physical sensations. How does your body know that it feels challenging? If it's just a story of, I don't know how, then where does that story live? Notice what sensations there, dull, tight, weak, open, whatever it is, lean in and allow that sensation to give you all of the information that's there. If your body wants to do something to express what's there, feel free to make a movement or a sound, but do it slow and stay in connection with how that movement or sound affects this place. Keep watching it, keep looking at it, noticing what it looks like in your mind's eye, noticing what emotions are there, and just feel and watch and witness. And taking a deep, loving breath. If this contraction is still in your system, tell it that it's perfect, and it's art, and it's beauty, and it's right, and it's okay, and that you can be successful and be in relationship with this place. And if you can feel it move out of your body, that's great too. Just coming back into the breath, and eventually back into the awareness of your whole body, and the awareness of where you are in space and where you are in this room. Yeah, lots and lots of love. I can't drive this point home enough. It gets to be easy. Your business gets to be easy. It gets to be fun. It gets to be in alignment with what feels good for you. So I want to give you a practice to take with you. That's been one of the most potent things that I do, and I do it all the time. I do it every day. Whatever your goal is, whether it's launching this program of yours, whether it's starting to sell a thing that you really like to do, a hobby that you have, and making an extra $1,000 a month with it, or making $20,000 a month doing what you love, whatever the goal is, ask yourself, she who has that, what does she want to do right now? What does she want to drink right now? What does she want to dress like today? What does she walk across this room like? And watch your posture change as you do that. Watch your wardrobe change as you do this. Welcome her in right now. You're playing with time. It's time magic, and you're doing it in the present. You're being who you want to be right now. And so the more that you ask yourself this question, what is that person, what does she do with this contraction? What does she want to resolve this like? What is her mind frame around this? And be conscious of the framework with which you're even trying to resolve your struggles in. Do you have this agreement that you can't be successful until you figure this piece out? Because then you're going to make that true. You are successful right now, and you're being it, and you're posturing your body and wiring your chemical and electrical and emotional signals to be in alignment with that woman that you're trying to become. And so practicing this posture in really easy ways, like what does she want to dress like today, is a really great way to connect into your physical, electrical, and emotional patterning to become that woman that much faster. Woo. I have loved this live. I've loved talking to you guys. This is the first time I've done a live class like this. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I would like to offer you guys a discount on the course that I'm launching in January if this is something you do want to dive into with me, just because you were here on this live. I'm going to be doing a month-long container as a beta test for what will be a 3 to 6 month program. So you will have to sign up for 3 to 6 months. But this one in January, you get to sign up for just 1 month. So if you'd like to work with me and deep dive every week into the blocks and release it and let it go, and then also get pre-recorded content, and then also get group sessions, let me know and I'll give you a 10% discount. I will send you the link, send me your email. I'll load you up with fun practices like this that you can start right away. I love you so much. Thank you for coming. I can't wait to talk to you soon.